Welcome back, everybody, to the continuation of our recap of Pyanodons on Twitch. So, it's been almost 2 weeks. Sorry about that. Last week, I didn't have any time to record any kind of recap episode. But today, I do have the time to do a bit of a recap of what was going on the last couple of streams. And one thing that we did kind of notice, and one thing that almost, well, was not really fatal, but very, very scary, was that we were running out of coal. The coal mine over here is basically done for. There is still a bit over here in storage, which is good. But the coal mine over here is gone, so we did go all the way over here and made ourselves a new coal outpost. Of course, this coal outpost over here is perfectly, not really perfectly, but optimally pollution neutral, so we don't really need to worry about pollution over here. But if we're already over here in this corner, there's also this thing over here. And oh boy, this thing over here has been giving us a bit of a headache. At some point in time, we are currently working on getting our Pi Science in. Where is that thing over there? Pi Science 2 is the thing we want to make. And for Pi Science 2, we do need things like glassware. We do need things like glassware. And to make optimal glassware, or close to optimal glassware, we do need to make ourselves some boron trioxide. And to make some boron trioxide, we need some boric acid. To make boric acid, we need deborane. And to make deborane, we need some borax. We also need borax for other things. And we already have this little borax chumper over here, but this thing is not really efficient. It's also only a 1-1 train. And overall, this thing over here, it could do better. It could definitely do better. So we kind of decided to go over here, where there's 30 million borax in the field. And, well, things kind of escalated. The usual, things kind of escalated. We got one big mine over here, mining borax. We got one big borax washing machine over here, washing borax, where we also get some muddy sludge out of it. Then the borax will be exported into a 2A train. And not only that, we also take the borax over here and we put it in all of these electrolyzers to turn it into deborane. And then we just add water and some more electric power to turn it into boric acid. And then we can finally cook it up with some coke into some boron trioxide. Now, you might already notice that there's a couple of electrolyzers over here, and every electrolyzer over here eats 10 megawatts. And we need a couple more electrolyzers because we also do need hydrogen. How much more? Well, this amount more. We need, I think, about 1,000 hydrogen per second. And to make 1,000 hydrogen per second, you need 50 electrolyzers. Now, in total, we have over here 90 electrolyzers, each one running at 10 megawatts. That's 900 megawatts of power that's being consumed over here if this machine over here is active. And if we go back to our power graph, well, yeah, we don't really have that much power. We are, I think, even already technically power negative. In terms of if the whole base would be working, we would just completely and utterly just go kablooey. And things would just stop. So we are kind of thinking of making better power, moving power around. We did spend some time over here in optimizing these power plants over here. It did turn out that some of these over here don't have enough salt in them. It also kind of turned out that if these machines over here are running at full speed, that the ash belts over here are not enough to keep them occupied. So they were kind of snuffing themselves out by just backing up on ash. Speaking of ash, the ash filter over here is still working as intended. We did steal a phosphate forestry over here. More about that later. But everything over here is still working as intended. Good. Now, we did end up making more glass, and we did end up doubling down our glass making machine over here. We just took a copy of this thing over here and placed a copy over there because we do need quite a bit of molten glass for glass paints, petri dishes, laboratory glass, and optical sets. Now, the optical sets, very important. If we go back to our Pi Science over here, at some point in time, we do need to make good alien samples, and good alien samples need, for example, things like primers. And primers do need laboratory instruments, and laboratory instruments are made with optical sets. That's where we make them over here. And actually, the laboratory instruments, that's the thing that we do over here. So we already make the optical sets over here. We already... When you out of fuel? No, it looks like that. The optical sets are being made over here. The circuits that we need, well, they're being made over here, so we can just belt them over. No problem over there. We also need a good amount of tin plates to make them. That's also being made over here. So bring it over. And then, of course, we need rubber. And rubber is currently the issue that we have. It also kind of turns out that this rubber stopper machine over here is not big enough. We need to make it about 66% bigger because we do need more rubber stoppers. But either way, rubber is currently blocking us for whatever we need to do. And if we go to our rubber machine, well, it sits over here. This is how fast we make rubber at a almost consistent pace. And this, of course, is not fast enough. Especially if you think that this place over here, this one over here, eats about 12 rubber per second. And we make it at a rate of, I think, 1 per second. It does come out in batches of 4, but the rubber recipe that we currently have is this one, yeah, and it's running at 1 per second. So we do need to increase our rubber production. To increase the rubber production, we also need to increase the latex production. To increase the latex production, we either need to increase our rock production or we need to increase the overall production of formic acid. But more about that later. For now, everything is working fine. This is good. This is decent. Things are working. I'm happy about it. Good. Good. But that was the big change up here. I think we covered that last time where we made the big seaweed machine over here. We got a ginormous seaweed machine over here, which we are also running on if we go to our third recipes. We are running the seaweed machines over here with the recirculation pumps. Install recirculation pumps into the seaweed crop facility. This upgrade will allow all water to be recycled for future harvests, which omits any kind of water usage, especially saline water usage, for the seaweed farm, which is pretty good because on higher speeds or on higher crafting recipes, the amount of saline water that you need to pump in here is pretty ludicrous. And we do still have the issue that salt is only, well, not only coming from over here, but mostly coming from over here. But we also have the issue that the other salt mine is, well, contested. Let's say it like that. It's not a lot of biters, but we're also not very good technology-wise to deal with them. So we do have issues over there. Good, but we do have a second source of salt. I think we covered this last time, where we have the magnificent sponge farm over here. And the magnificent sponge farm over here, which also has the very magnificent sponge bob in it. The magnificent sponge farm over here does end up making saline water. And we do have quite a bit of saline water over here in storage, which we are currently turning into salt. Mostly because this has a higher storage capacity than a single pie tank over here. And we do want to export salt because salt has the more common use case than saline water. And if we do want to if we do require saline water somewhere else, we can always turn the salt back into saline water. Turning saline water into salt and salt into saline water is a 1-to-1 conversion. The only thing you need to spend, of course, is a bit of power for the evaporator or for the washing machine. And that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. But we're doing very, very good for the sponges over here. And the sponges are also required for us to make the Pi Science Mark II. And I think we need them for the cytostatistics. There we go. These require these sponges. And also, yet again, more laboratory glass plasmids over here. More laboratory glass and laboratory instruments. We can already see that we are more or less automating all of these builds pretty much here and there. I think Bacteria is the only thing we don't really automate as a big build, but we could do that. But at the moment, we are more or less usually building it on site. Incubated Petri dishes, we already have a Petri dish system, so we can already order up Petri dishes via a train. That's where this place comes in. And making incubated Petri dishes is basically just take the Petri dish, stick it into the ground, pick it up again, it's fine. It's done. So we're already making good progress over here for most of this. Cotton guts we already have. Artificial blood is, I think, the only thing that really still requires a bit more input. Mostly because we need to make the flue tag, and the flue tag requires the cobalt fluoride. And the cobalt fluoride still requires the cobalt extract as well as acid gas and stuff like that. But it's not too hard to make. Also, decalin is a thing we need to make quite a bit because we need it for the cytostatics, as well as for the flue tag, as well as for the... We only need it for those two things. So that is good to know. And this over here, it's just an excellent titanium aromatics, more hydrogen. Pretty easy to do as well, in my opinion. Good, but we just have to put it down. And that's more or less the issue. We're not running out of space anytime soon, but we just have to put in the effort to make those things. That's the whole thing we have to do. Good, but that's all about the borer machine and the coal machine over there. I don't think we have shown this thing off yet, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, that we were running out of titanium. And, well, we got a new titanium making machine over here. Nothing spectacular, just this over here, supersized on the input of, I think, 20 titanium per second. It's not a single yellow belt, but I think it's 20 titanium per second. And I think we did that because later down the line, at some point in time, the ratio was better for that. And this is a pretty neat ratio. This is lovely. Also, I like the way how it's built. I like the ore comes in, it gets sorted, and then the sorted stuff immediately gets crushed over here, and then flushed back on the belt, together with the stone as well. And then everything is either stone or titanium grade 1. And then the stone gets pulled off, the titanium grade 1 gets sorted again into titanium grade 3 and titanium rejects. And then the rejects go all the way back and get crushed again, which then get combined up down here. And the gravel that we make over there just goes on the stone belt, and then the stone belt and the gravel belt will just be exported. Speaking of stone, wow. We're almost backing up on stone over here. We might have a stone issue. I mean, we are... Wait, is that station set? Oh, there's a problem. Stone, please. Stone 2-8 provider. There we go. And you over there, do we have a gravel provider for that? Yes, we do. Set it up, please. We don't have a train for it yet, but we have a provider. But yeah, stone is a bit of an issue because the stone mine over here, it's basically out. Kerosene production will come to a stop soon, which could be an issue. But we will see more about that later. One thing that did came up, which was kind of scary. At some point in time, we were running out of coke. If all the power plants are running at full speed, the amount of coke that we consume is a little bit higher than the amount of coke we can produce over here. So we do need to be careful with our coke consumption. And we are thinking about going into bitumen cracking. That's crude oil. That's Numa ink. Yeah, there's bitumen cracking usage. As with bitumen cracking, we can go down the path of residual mixture. And residual mixture, combine that up with some vacuum, we can get a whole whopping 40 coke out of that. Some residual oil, some coking gas oil. The residual oil over here, we can just add some ash to it and turn that back into mixture. So basically, we just loop this back in. But the coking gas oil over here, we can quench that with some water, and we get even more coke out of it, and even some coke oven gas, which is pretty neat. I don't think we can crack bitumen with coke oven gas. There is that recipe for oil and for tar, but it does not exist for bitumen gas over here. There's also the path of the dirty syngas, which does require filtration media, which gives us then purified syngas, soot, and flue gas. The purified syngas then gives us more soot and hot syngas, and then the hot syngas gives us a whole load of syngas. So we could either turn our bitumen over here into quite a bit of syngas, or we can turn it into quite a bit of coke. I think we will be going down the coke path because the low distillates over here, we can turn that stuff into things like kerosene later on, which is going to be very important. BTX is also pretty good if we make some tin chromium alloy, which we should do sooner or later. And we can also just cook it up with some gasoline into just a more heavy oil, more residual oil, some steam, which is more or less a steam cycle. But the heavy oil recipe over here could be good because it could also just replace... Let's go over here. It could just replace the heavy oil recipe that we have already going on over here, because we are already turning in bitumen into heavy oil. And if we just enhance our cracking a bit, we could make this better over here. Now, of course, there's one issue, especially in Pyanodons, if you start oil cracking. And that is, you do get like 5 different liquids, and it is not guaranteed that all of these liquids will be used. And the way I'm kind of thinking of how we could do it is, we already have a multi-liquid burning system. Everything that overflows over here will just be pushed into the multi-liquid burning system and will be used for whatever, doesn't matter. But if we can use it for something, we should use it for something. So the medium distillates over here, we need titanium tetrachloride for that, which is also a very good coal dust sink, which we might end up doing soon. Because titanium tetrachloride is very good. It's a very good catalyst material for a whole bunch of oil-based products. And you do need it mostly for cracking stuff. And we should start making... Actually, you only need it for cracking stuff. And for plastic, it seems. But things like this is pretty decent, where we just take some titanium tetrachloride, some copper plate, some methane gas, and turn it into methanol. Or low distillates into lubricant. Kerosene. The kerosene one is very good. Xylanol is something we do need at some point in time, but it is a very, very rare use case. And even for the iron pulp over here, I think we can mostly skip it. But yeah, there will be a whole bunch of different cracking coming on in the future based upon titanium tetrachloride. Good? Good. Then, what else do we do? One big thing, the bees. We did end up setting up a bit of a robo network over here, just so that we could optimize the permanent construction of bees over here. And this now kind of came to a stop because the output is full. Perfect. Because the bees over here have started working again. Let's turn this off real quick. There we go. Currently, the queen seems to be asleep. Wait a minute. Yeah, there's a queen in there. There's a queen in there. We can make more, but we actually did somehow run out of bees over here. There used to be 1,200 bees in here. And we turned those 1,200 bees over there into more or less 1,400 eggs. And those 1,400 eggs were turning into maggots over here. The maggots were turning into nests over there. Most of the nests, if not all of the nests, go over here into more queen production. But some of them do get pushed over here, where we then turn them into more bees, which we then can turn into more eggs. And we just keep the cycle going over here. And we do kind of hope that we don't lose our queen again, in the hopes that we can just get maybe... We want to have at least 4 queens over here. We want to have like a stable production over here that just non-stop makes these things. We could even... I'm actually even kind of thinking about maybe even putting the queen production over here into an infinite state. Because why not have infinite queens? It's always good to have more queens. Good. Then, let's see. The ball definitely did more expansion over here. It's all growing and going over here, which is bloody amazing. I think we showed this thing off. If not, let's go over it again. This over here is the rare earth oxide. Nee, rare earth ore oxide. What's it called again? God dang it. Where is it? It has such a weird name. It is in here as part of the Paragene? Cytostatics? No, it's a part in here as the artificial blood, the flutag, the cobalt fluoride, the rare earth oxides. There we go. Yeah, rare earth oxides is going to be very important in the future. We mostly need it for chips, but we also do need it for all of the biotechnology. And we kind of ended up making quite a big build over here. But this build over here is perfectly balanced. And to be perfectly honest, I love it. It's a bloody amazing build. We do end up with a whole bunch of chromite sand over here, which is good. This chromite sand over here, we probably do want to cook that up into more chromium ingots, because chrome is a thing you do need quite a lot in this mod pack, as it's also a catalyst and it's part of some other alloys. So making more chrome is always good. We also do end up making more stone over here. And okay, you are a provider, perfect. And you are a gravel provider. Yes, you are a gravel provider. And also we end up making quite a bit of sand over here. I'm still not quite sure what we're going to be doing with the sand over here, but maybe at some point in time we can just make like some kind of weird sand injection system somewhere that just takes this sand and uses it up for something else. Good. I'm pretty sure we also showed off the oil power plant. Actually, not the oil power plant, it's the gas power plant. And this thing over here only turns on every now and then. And it's currently filling up, which is nice. We might even be able to see it turn on, because we got a little bit of an RS latch in here. So natural gas starts to fill up over here. In retrospect to bitumen, which you mostly use, and refined natural gas, which you mostly burn off. But natural gas tends to be like the limiting factor over here. And if this tank is getting to full, we got an RS latch over there that opens up this pump, which sends it down here over then. And once this tank hits a certain limit, then this pump over here turns off and these pumps turn on, and then we just turn it all into power. But it does kind of seem it kind of stopped. I think the latch over here only goes to 50,000. So we are good over here. Good. Good. We still have not done key calc, but let's have a quick peek at what we still need to do over here. Mechanical parts we still need to automate. It's not too hard to automate. We might even end up doing this with bots. It's just like bring resources in, make mechanical parts. Technically, we've done so over here in the mall, and we do have 3,000 of them. Whoa, what the fuck? Yeah, we're good for mechanical parts. We don't need to worry about that for a while. Good. The paragene, we are preparing that. The paragene is being prepared over here. Part of the paragene production is also the solidified Sarkoros production, which we do need for the logistic data or the logistic science. We still got quite a bit of it over here in the chest, so we are already trying to make the new one over here. The only thing we're missing over here is the cytostatics and the artificial blood, which we will probably be working on next. And then the casein, that requires the Corlexes. For the Corlexes, we do need also artificial blood. I think that is the limiting factor over there. Let's have a quick peek at that, at the Corlex. It's not over here. Where is the Corlex boy? Where is he? There he is. Craft. The limiting factor over here is the fetal serum and the artificial blood. Fetal serum is glassware, gut, silver plate. We've got all of those, no problem. So we can make fetal serum. And the artificial blood, yet again, still requires the Flutec, the Decalin, the cobalt fluoride, and the cobalt extract. Cobalt extract itself, not too hard to make. It does require quite a bit of cyanic acid. And that's going to be the annoying part. But we can work on that. We can work on that. Good. Then, what else do we miss? The ZPX. The ZPX is pretty easy. We just need to set up a ZPR farm. And then we're going to be good with that as well. And plastic and flavonoids. For the flavonoids, we need to make a Yadel farm. Just Yadels and seaweed make flavonoids. Not too hard to do. And making Yadels is also pretty easy. So we haven't done it yet. And plastic. Yeah, I don't think we can run it on this recipe anymore. We might need to see if we can find a better plastic recipe. Plastic from casein is pretty good. And plastic from melamine is also a thing we could do. Melamine is just basically cooked up poop. So, oh god, poop plastic. Oh god. The sound of it. No! Good. But that is it for the recap episode. Sorry about last week that I could not make a recap episode for that. Things were quite busy, and even today I'm kind of trying to sneak this in during lunchtime to make the recording, to make it happen. But I do value the recap episodes a bit more, because the recap episodes definitely have more interest than the full-blown Pi VOD, because those usually tend to be, well, you can watch them, but they're not for everybody. They're not for everybody. Good. Speaking of the Pi VODs, nothing has been lost. Don't worry. Even though the Pi VOD channel has not really been updated much, I do have them all on my server at home, and I do just need to find the time to upload them in a manner that YouTube does not go completely cray-cray and basically blocks my upload purposes. They didn't really block them, but if you do upload too many big videos at once, the YouTube processing can get confused and just stops outright, and then you only end up with single definition videos, which is not the best. Not the best. Good. That's it for today. If you do like what you see, please do leave a like, a follow, a comment, a subscription. Every one of those actions does help me out in growing this channel into something bloody amazing. You can also find me, of course, on twitch.tv/BoldViking, where we do even more of this. If this episode goes out on Thursday, then definitely on Thursday. We usually stream this on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And maybe every now and then there will be an extra stream of this. Nevertheless, thank you so much for today, and have an amazing evening. Until next time, see you around!